the Arts Podcast with myself, Adele, and today we are joined once again by the beautiful, experienced, and very talented lady. We have the lovely Sherry joining us, our resident astrologer. Hello, Sherry.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Adele. Thank you for having me back. I'm so excited with the things
It's
this
lovely
week.
to have you. Always lovely to have you on. Really, really nice to have you here again today to highlight and probably tell us what's been going on, what's happened, where we're at, and where we're heading.
Sure. So today there's a lot of, I'm an intuitive astrologer, so I don't, I kind of intuitively tune into where spirit wants me to talk in regards to transits. And today's focus, I want to talk a little bit about Venus. And Venus represents our love nature, our love language, and how we attract beauty, how we magnetize, how we speak in our love language, some people call it, right? So wherever Venus is in your chart, it's important for you to utilize that energy, so that way, and understand other people, so that way you don't take it personal. Some people are just strictly intellect, not so driven emotionally, and that's going to come up today as Venus enters Libra's balance. And it's an ongoing theme from our last podcast, which talks about relationships and like how these turning points in our relationships are going to start to surface. Have you noticed any of that happening yet in your own 3D world, Adele?
Well, as soon as you started talking, I was thinking, I haven't really seen my husband for the last 3 to 4 weeks, because we've literally been like ships in the night, and then he was ill, and then I was ill, and then he was away, and then we literally last 4 weeks haven't even had sort of any contact really, apart from like literally ships through the night. He's like hi, he's been doing his thing, I've been doing my thing. So yeah, there's been no balance with the love department.
Well, that's going to come up, because it's going to be the key highlight with the Venus and Libra aspect is what are we valuing? What are we requiring in our connections, and even other people that we're doing, business with, or having these connections where we co-create together. So it's going to be a deep dive in these next couple of weeks, starting today. I started feeling it already, but Venus is empowered in Libra because it talks about self-worth, your value, and self-confidence, right? And Venus desires partnership. So in a connection in Libra, it's going to work towards equilibrium, like we talked about with the body. She wants people in her life where there's a mutual exchange. So you bringing that up, your higher self is saying, wait, we need a date night soon. We need to get a baby. We need a babysitter, and we need that.
I said that. I did say that literally about an hour ago to my husband. I said, we're going to have to put a date in the diary for one another, because we're not seeing one another at all at the moment. So yeah, totally get that.
So you look for the best in the situation, even if it's not what you want right now. And a lot of calls are like experiencing the same things that I have with the clients on here at Ask the Answer, where people are, bringing up what needs to improve, what needs to change, in order for things to go forward on a higher timeline. So don't just brush that off with what we haven't seen each other. That's coming up for a reason. Yeah. And it's going to empower you more, especially and it's going to relate, because how our love energies, how they balance affects our money. When you're happy, your energy is happy, content, and fulfilled, and you're stimulated in your love life, that's going to pour into co-creating, wanting to see a different future with your partner. Like, what can we do that's different? Like, it's an energy of empowerment, Libra, right? And like I said, a lot more new people, new opportunities are going to come in. So communications and conversations at this time is really important in this last quarter. And I did meditate and pull some cards, and I got the energy of 10 of Pentacles, right? But above that was a Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So let me talk a little bit about that. So 10 of Pentacles is the energy of expansion. And with Venus coming in, how are we gonna use our what we've learned, our experiences, what we love to do, things we discuss, creatively, like it's going to be like intellectual conversations because Libra's air, remember? So Venus and air. So I think from the last reading, I sense that you and your husband are going to start to discuss these things. So you never know what could happen. So your soul is prompting you for a date night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's where you never know. You two could be at the right place at the right time, and you meet new people. And then there's like, remember, there's an air grand trine coming in where wherever we have air in our charts, we can meet another air sign, and through them blessings could come, miracles can come, movement can come where things were stagnant, towards future endeavors, towards creating legacy, and how our family can build together legacy, that generational wealth, basically 10 of Pentacles. This is something that both of you can imagine doing for the rest of your life on this plane. It's going to trigger him a little because he goes from emperor. I sense your husband right away in this, but or whoever it is in the partnership, it could even be you. And for our listeners listening, we may not like the way the solutions come. It could get us in our head with the full moon coming up in, the new moon coming up at the end of the month in Libra. Okay, it's air. So when a full moon is in an air sign, we're going to overthink. We're going to overanalyze. And a lot of us in this sphere of Ask the Answer, our spiritual family, we're all mostly empaths and sensitives. So we tend to overthink things. We tend to feel things deeper. We tend to cry at commercials. These are things that the external 3D world doesn't always value or see as a strength. But come get a reading, book a session with me, especially in and around, it's on the 21st, this next new moon in Libra, because you might get a little overwhelmed because it's an air energy. Do you feel like these things are coming up in and around money again for you, as a concern on how to move forward and where to go next?
Well, as you were aware, we launched the clothing brand on the weekend for my son. Obviously, I put a lot of money into that. Yeah. And it was great. It was a long day. It was hard work. People were talking about it. Didn't maybe sell as much as I thought we would, but then my husband said, no, I don't think you would have sold that much. At the minute, you're getting your brand out there. People don't know who you are. They're not going to buy things into something they don't know much about. So it's all about promoting and, planting the seed. And I could hear people talking about it, and people did buy things, and it felt positive. But I think it was quite I think because I want everything perfect, and it looked really great and professional. But it's one of those, you do suddenly think, oh, is it all worth it? But I know, deep down, I do think it is worth it, and I'm still plugging away. It's only the first launch, but I think it was just a long day, and I've got another meeting with a guy on Wednesday about obviously sourcing us the clothes and stuff like that, so we'll have more consistency, and with the company's with somebody who's he's massive. He's got he provides for all of the clubs around the Suffolk area. Wow. So he's a great contact to have. So we're seeing him on Wednesday with my son. But yeah, again, financially, I've put a lot in. I might not be getting that back at the moment because at the minute it's about promoting. And I think with any business, you don't make a lot of money in the first year anyway. It's about getting that name out there. So money has come into play mentioning it, because obviously you plow so much in to set up with, from tables to, to designs and, to chairs or, money, whatever it might be. You have to have that set up, don't you, when you're starting up?
Yeah, absolutely. Marketing isn't my wheelhouse either. That's why I enjoy co-creating with you guys, because you help me with that. I'm doing too many things, focusing on where I, hone in my gifts. So, I try my own stuff. Yes. But yeah, you do have to invest. I do believe that this new moon, this whole week you might overthink it, but then I think with the new moon on the 21st, things are going to move forward, because there is, for whoever, I think this is a collective message, there's going to be something moving forward. Okay, there's an energy of maybe an offer coming in, so that you don't get overwhelmed and feeling pressured either. Don't feel pressured. Do your due diligence is the advice that Spirit is giving me, because you're only meant to expand the way that you're viewing things, just as you said with the marketing, right? It's a strong Venusian energy, which is revealing more about our priorities. our values and important relationships. This is a key relationship for you that you and your husband want to cherish, because they're going to guide you in how you invest. So your investment is going to create generational wealth eventually, just because, especially with with the way that your concept of what you're bringing to the table to the world through your products, right? It's the meaning behind it. It's purpose. It's not just an objective intellectually and a business. That's very matrix and very corporate, which we're all moving away from as we build the new earth. So the self-doubt could come up a little, but I think once the new moon hits on the 21st, things are going to start to move forward, and you're going to fully claim what you for as this offer comes in. And for love, I think your husband is eventually going to probably in a day or so. I hope you let me know when this happens. He's probably going to want to take you out without you having to say anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So just look out for that. And this is for our readers too. There's somebody wanting to move forward that could see a vision with you in the future in terms of love, because maybe in the past, they keep spreading themselves too thin, because this person is a person of influence. They have a lot of connections, relationships they have to juggle. And so it's, if they're in the public eye, it's not always easy to have that stability in the home life, right? Same thing with you.
Yeah.
This could be your energy that your energy is needed, and you kind of are trying to be there for everyone and everything, but Libra's bringing in that equilibrium.
Yeah.
Is that what you're sensing?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also my husband himself and his career, because he's a manager, he's managing lots of people. So again, he's having to look after them, making sure they're all right. And he started obviously that new job, and it has been quite hectic for him. It's almost like they've just dumped all this work on him, and he's like, oh God, for less money. He's doing it for less money and having more work because he had to take a step back, obviously, with this new role. So
right.
Yeah.
So that's happening for him, not to him. Remember in the last podcast, and the read for him was, there are things that he's going to start to question.
Yes.
Like, is this worth the sacrifice?
Yeah.
Where when you are more independent and not so attached to a corporate entity, you have more sovereignty and independence to navigate your business and your creation, right? Yes, we all have to still deal with red tape in the process. And hopefully the new earth is purifying that, so that way it's a fair, laissez-faire, as they say, right? Like free enterprise.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting back to this last quarter. Wherever we have not been honest with ourselves, whether it's discipline in our body, in our relationships, the way we eat, the way we sleep, like whatever that is for us, that's not allowing us to get in alignment with our true path. I need to see this in the upright, the Knight of Pentacles. Because even if we're still in a job or a relationships or a community or doing things that doesn't resonate, it's keeping us feeling stuck and heavy in the body, literally. Those are signs, right? And Venus in Libra is going to ask us to look at this, especially with this new moon. Like, some of us are going to start to get creative and start to maybe start a blog, start to detach from what people will think, even if you do it on a private channel for now. I see a lot of energies going into creation, the magician energy in the last quarter. Okay, we have less than 60 something days of 2025. How are we going to use that energy? And a lot of us are going to be divinely led to create and use what we have, right? We all have laptops that have cameras. We all have phones that record these days. Anybody can have their own podcast. Anybody can start to create their own channel these days. So, and it's divinely led, because we are meant to be creators. We are the creators, right? So if you haven't been happy, which the Sun card in the reverse came up under that, it's all, you're living a life of inauthenticity. Venus energy won't let us do that this time. Are you experiencing any of that? I'm not sure if you are, because you're pretty much on the creative path. You have the freedom to self-express, where people don't in the corporate world, like your husband. He has to kind of
Yeah.
bite his tongue, right? So
Yeah.
how would you advise him on that? Like, what would be your, because you will have a talk about this.
Yeah, I think I've just been saying just hold tight at the moment because I just think at the minute I don't know. I said let's just hold tight till the new year, see if he's going to get any progression where he is, where he'll feel a bit more fulfilled, or whether actually it might be worth looking at other areas and moving on, and maybe this is just a bit of a stepping stone to something else. So yeah, at the minute it's been about just hold tight. We're just doing it for obviously what we need to do it for, and then see how that pans out in the new year.
Right. So everyone's consciousness is going to be pushed with the Wheel of Fortune here in the last quarter, where we're going to elevate our consciousness, and we're going to, again, fully claim into our sovereignty and empower ourselves, because he's been detached from that job emotionally and intellectually and spiritually for a long time.
Yes.
It's just, but the tides are turning. And
Okay.
this is not just for Adele and your husband, but and this is for anyone listening to this right now. You're hearing this for a reason. The Wheel of Fortune brings fated change, destined change that we don't have any say in. Whether we like it or not, change is the only thing that is constant. And I had to learn that as a fixed sign the hard way, Adele, where it's in a way for the better, because it's how will our souls evolve if we are in the same job, doing the same things, if we are in the same community, speaking about the same things. No one is evolving. And that is what the soul is. That's where the consistent change happens. But a lot of us don't experience the change. Why? Because we're afraid of change.
Yeah. But also some people are also probably thinking, well, I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to do the things that I love to do.
Right. Taking a chance. Like it's time to really step out of our comfort zones with the Wheel of Fortune energy. And it's not comfortable sometimes. Sometimes it comes through, hardships, setbacks, things that we've been sweeping under the rug that we don't want to face. Right. And we will be rewarded when we take a risk, but it could be a little calculated. It could be, we don't want to just leap. That's not what we do. We don't just leave our jobs or leave our marriage. We really ask divine source, God, universe for signs, and bring me that ship or bring me that opportunity, bring me that next level, right? Like the way you gradually left the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, you didn't even know it was going to be creating the t-shirts and, with your son, you had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
How did that fall into your lap again? So we can remind everyone.
So the job, there was the clothing is running alongside me working at the gym, but I left my massage company to go obviously with the gym. But the project with my son came up during the summer holidays when he said, I want a project, Mum, I want to do something, I want to have my own clothing range. And I was like, well, why don't you, do what you love doing? You love rugby. So, let's have a rugby brand. Let's have rugby clothes, rugby shorts, rugby T-shirts, sports bottles, all these sort of things. And so he did all the designs. We then took it to the printers. We got them all sort of mocked up, tweaked them a little bit. Then we got some events put in, which we did our first one on Sunday. So that's now started. And then, we're just, still finding our feet with it all, seeing what works, what doesn't work, getting now to boost our social media side of things. And we're just going with the flow. And we're not going with the flow, but we're at the beginning stages of it all. But that's how it all started.
I mean, just look at Ask the Answer, how the podcasts are developing, and everybody's online for it. Emma sends out the dates. I'm like, okay, it's exciting. And we, the Wheel of Fortune, will bring up things, especially with intellect and philosophy and making us look like there were things we've always wanted to do throughout our lives, even as little boys and little girls or teenage, whatever. At some point, we were drawn to certain things that we always wanted to study, right? I knew I always wanted to be in health and wellness. Mm-hmm. I just always knew it because I was always reading self-help books, starting in honestly, 5th grade. I studied Carl Jung in 5th grade, and Louise Hayes and Dwayne Dyer. These were a lot of my spiritual teachers growing up. And by the time I got to high school, it it helped me understand the psyche better, especially if we are not using our intuitive gifts, which a lot of us have. We all have intuition, but a lot of us have different gifts. There's the 5 C's, like we talked about in the past, and something may call your soul to study, like the soul searching might come in this last quarter. Okay, where people like, what would I do? What kind of job would I have if it was something that I love and I didn't get paid for? That is the one question that I encourage our listeners and ourselves to revisit, because we're consistently, especially if you notice, you're always wanting to reinvent yourself, whether it's looks on the physical, aesthetics. It doesn't matter. Like that's what really, on a physical level, yes, it's healthy as long as you're not obsessed with it. But on a soul level, it's deeper, because your soul will lead the way. You don't have to think about it. You don't really have to strategize. The soul is directly from source. So when you're connected to source through soul, through breath, which requires a little bit of downtime, a little bit of going within, and even if it's just watching the sunrise or the sunset, that's communing with source. And when you're in alignment, source will show you'll start to remember things. Oh my God, I've always wanted to do that. Like you would, I never really pursued it, but I have my certifications in personal training. I'm trained to teach kickboxing. I've done aerial silk training as a teacher, professional development. Like, I've always wanted to do it, but I never pursued the actual teaching. Yeah. And now where I am in my 3D, as I mentioned to you, I joined this new gym, and I'm so drawn to these coaches because they show up disciplined, devoted, but yet I could sense their lives still have freedom. Yeah. Right. And that's the 9 of Pentacles energy. It's having that freedom. Like, you can create your own schedule. Sometimes maybe you don't have a choice because you want clients. You have to show up for them too. Right. Yeah. So we find that balance with this energy. And so as long as our emotions, right, are above water, I'm going to say, we're not drowning in them. We're not worrying. We're not in anxiety. We're not fearful or doubtful. We're going to be able to take little steps, little chances, and realize I'm not dependent on this job. It was a mindset that kept me there. I can create something on the side that eventually could replace what I'm doing now. Yeah. Because, there are signs. There are signs that we become dependent on one thing. And a lot of us want to protect that because it's what we have and it's all we know at the time. But again, the more connected you are on that spiritual path, and if you need help with that, book a session with me. We can do sessions over the phone. And I have done a lot of energy work, some sound healing over the phone with clients to help them tune in directly to source, because they're so distracted. Some people don't have it in them to sit for 5 minutes. It's not easy because they have a fast forward future thinking mind. And I do too. That's why I don't have a choice but to slow down, Adele. We talked about this with you, and I see you're a nature lover, with your beautiful, what was that? The donkeys, right? Like
miniature Shetland.
Oh, the Shetland. I'm sorry. They're just, it's adorable. You're
I know.
Like, I just fall in love with those posts because it's so, you're in your pure joy. Yeah. And when you're in pure joy, right? What happens, pure joy, we get connected to the inner child. We let that out. When we're so mechanized in the 9-to-5 jobs, we lose that.
It's so funny you mentioned that, and that came up because I literally was saying, because obviously I've been focusing on the launch of the clothing this last few weeks. So I said literally yesterday, I feel I've really not neglected is a bit of a harsh word, but I feel like I haven't given that time to my miniature Shetland. And luckily I've got a great friend who's been taking her out for me for exercise. But I was like, and also, again, another sign, I do believe, because I was focusing on the clothing launch, my cart that I normally go out with her got a puncture. So it stopped me from going out, and because normally I'd go out and spend time with her, and then I wouldn't have had time to focus on the launch. So it was almost like, right, just put that on hold for a minute, focus on this one thing. You've had a puncture, it slowed you down. That's now been fixed. And I said, I need to spend some more time with her now that launch has been done. Because I feel like the last sort of week or two that I haven't been able to get out as much with her. And obviously you highlighting that then is exactly how I've been feeling.
Well, that's why I came out in reverse for you. You see the little horse?
Oh, it was reverse. Oh, there you go. Yeah,
you see the horse?
Yeah.
Because that's what brings you joy. And
yes.
And your inner child will always signal you on a deep level. Like you'll whether it's the sun calling you outside and like, oh, I gotta go out and ride, you know, like there you need a balance of both, right? Yeah. The sun and the moon came out here. The moon was in the upright, but with this new moon in Libra coming up on the 21st, we may not like, we might be forced to make some head over heart decisions, and be forced to discipline where our mind goes and step into authority with that, or step up to inner authority. So for people, they could be challenged with their bosses. For relationships with their lover, with their partner, in passion projects with their co-creators, and in community. There could be things that you have to be a little bit more strict with, because if you're training someone, for instance, and they're not showing up and they're paying for your time, you're going to have to be a little tough. And some people don't know how to bring that balance of, it's kind of all or nothing, like, ultimatums, you want to find a balance with that. You want to it's not easy to draw boundaries. If you've never really practiced them, or if they were weak all your life, or if you were a people pleaser, these things come up. It's like, when do you draw the line in the sand? And this is really going to come up for all of us in the last quarter, to make better choices, to focus, more on what is it we're here to do? What do I need to work on within myself, so that I don't reflect this and project this into my 3D reality anymore? And you do call in better opportunities, better lovers, better options, better days ahead, right? That doesn't cause you an overwhelm. Okay. And doesn't interfere with your money. Yeah. The right people, the right person, the right situations will not drain you. Yeah. You can tell when something feels so good. Being around someone, talking to someone, you can tell. Do you experience that on a daily too?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. There's been times where you do feel really drained and feel like, oh God, this is not working. And absolutely. And then other times things just seem to just run so seamlessly, and you think, oh, that will happen quite easily. And you think, oh, I was obviously meant to be. So yeah. I mean, that doesn't go without saying that sometimes things are challenging, or you feel a bit uncomfortable by it, but it's not like, oh God, this really doesn't feel right, I don't want to do it, I can't bear it type feeling.
Well, I always say, choose your inner peace first. If someone is not in alignment with you and you're not sure how to handle that, just take space. And some people handle taking space differently. Some people don't, and we never have to explain ourselves to anyone, especially if you're not ready. Right. This is your world that you're creating. And I'm not saying to be defensive, and I'm not saying to put a wall up, no, and ghost people, but just make sure that you are balanced, happy, whole, and complete within yourself, and you're honoring the things that are not serving you. Like abuse, emotional abuse, emotional unavailability. Like, how are you going to create that new experience with the magician energy and not feel overwhelmed in relationships? You might call in new ones when you let go of the old ones. Yeah. Like, that's how we end cycles, like not settling. So again, this theme, and being aware and accepting where people are at is not easy, but when we do, it's going to open up different portals, where our heart is. We could still be there for people, but at the same time, we have to keep moving forward, because you're already setting up the template for them. So when your husband gets on the path, you've already set up the business. You're already like.
I said to him, I'm looking like a squirrel behind the scenes. I'm like,
right. So it's you're actually, you're not enabling by holding their hand through it, like, because we are it's an individual journey. We can nurture, but we can't baby, we can't mother.
Yeah.
We have to be our own self parents. I always say this in my sessions with people, and that's not stop telling yourself that I should do this, or I need to do this, that this is an obligation. No, you catering to others and to their unnecessary expectations of yourself is not allowing the flow of abundance. All right. So remember, magician energy, stick to what makes you fulfilled and joy. Because when you're in joy, more ideas will come for your business, Adele.
Yeah.
So get on the Shetland and start getting the sun.
Tomorrow I'm having a whole holy day.
Because that's where epiphanies come. That's where breakthroughs happen, when we're just doing what we love and just detach from it. Because when we stay in the pain, and we stay in the mental energy, we don't know, it's not all our fault, because that's the way we were trained, right? Like, we just kind of keep things to ourselves, and new ideas can't flow when you're not in your own flow, when you're not present. So these and new ways of communicating will come to you, which is the divine, like new ways of connecting with the birds. There could be a sign on, like, I've been drawn to these like single roses outside in our garden. And it's pretty cold here now. It's in the 60s. And I noticed, like, everything else is dying out, but these buds came on the rose bush. So, like, I feel like nature teaches so much. We can learn so much about patience and hope and faith just by observing and communing with it. Yeah. Like, that's like, what is the feeling you get when you're writing?
When I'm writing?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. I suppose it's just, it's peaceful. It's calming. It's just, I don't need, there's just no worries. It's just like, this is just, bliss.
Yes. So when you're connected to that, pay attention to it when you write her tomorrow, right? Because you're going to get your spirit team is going to be like loud and clear. You won't be able to ignore it because you're having so much fun, and you're in tune. You're not worried about what the next step is. You're not worried about where the next check is coming or when's he going to call me, right? The law of attraction works that way. When you're not chasing it, when you're not holding and clutching, when you forget about it and like whatever, not even care. And sometimes when you run from it, it actually comes to you. Like, some things I try to avoid keep showing up in my face. Some things I keep trying to hide from, it keeps showing up. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm going to stop. Whatever that wall or fear that's making me run or hide, I want to, please help me. Like, ask for help, ask for support. Like, help me to break through that, because that's, like, when you're drawn to someone or something, like for myself, like I tend to get shy. And that's just how I've always been. I noticed that, but do I accept that, or do I work through those things that are causing me? And it's not insecurity. Yeah. Because I'm pretty secure in myself. So I never really understood what that is. I get shy, whether it's coming on a podcast, I still get shy, but then when I let spirit flow and lead, it goes away.
What do you think my intention was today in my cycling class?
Today?
It always ties in with what we're talking about.
Well, what is that? Connect and listen to the soul?
My intention was to be brave. So to be brave and to, just to enjoy that experience when they were on their bikes today. Be brave, turning up the resistance, or be brave coming out of your saddle more today and using that in your everyday life. Let's be brave. We're coming towards the end of the year, focusing on those New Year's goals or the things you want to achieve this year. Let's keep that focus. Let's keep being brave, showing up, being consistent, having that courage. That's what I basically mentioned today in the class.
Oh my God, you can't make this up. You can't. Like, that's it, and I needed to hear that today, because I get very shy, and it's not comfortable. It's getting uncomfortable. Something's making me face this, and I want to do it. I'm learning to just stop.
Be brave,
because I can't teach that unless I I practice that.
Yeah. But you absolutely smash it. You're absolutely amazing. Like
Oh.
everything you say is just like, it's incredible. It really is. It totally makes sense. You know, it's so relatable. You're so in tune with everything. It's you're really incredible. Every time we speak to you, you know, you're always on point.
Thank you so much. I feel the same way about you, Adele. I think really, you know, the summary of today is tuning into our Venusian energy. Venus is the planet of love. Like tune in more, even if it means, you know, for the ladies, put on a little lip gloss or put your best dress on, even if you don't have a reason. Go, if you work from home, put some heels on. Like get into that feminine, right?
Yeah.
You know, like reclaim the softness, because a lot of us have been forced to be so masculine, so independent. Like, we got to do this, to be the strong mom, to be the soccer mom, to be here, to be there, right? Like when women embody Venus energy, they reclaim softness as power, you know, not as weakness. And the same for men. When men embody Venus energy, they reclaim, you know, their softness in a different way through their feelings and intuition, and they soften, right? So that balance, that acceptance will help us, you know, because these things always come up. Am I being selfish? Is this not selfish? Am I being judgmental? Am I being honest? Dishonest? Like those things will come easier. Like the way I just shared with you. Shy, hide, run away, or stay seen. Stay being seen. Just take a risk, do the thing, say hello, whatever that is for you, right? Like it's accepting this expectation that we place on ourselves, and letting that go, and just allowing spirit, because spirit will show us the people we need to connect with. They won't go away. Spirit will show us what we need to eat. If you really go without a list, try that this weekend whenever you go food shopping, go without a list, and ask spirit, what is it that I need to shop to eat for my best and highest good? You know, what can I nourish my soul with, and that will strengthen our bodies in a healthy way? You know, show me what I need to get. And if it's not even before you go to the shop, you might see a commercial or a blog or a post on something, and spirit will tell you before you go to the store, oh, get that, order this, you know, like it's intuitive living, intuitive eating, intuitive knowing, like allowing that kind of prevents you from having to learn the lessons of impulsivity, or just trusting or opening to something new, and not being disappointed because your soul told you one thing and your physical self did the other, your human self did the other. So that's not an easy thing when you're like, you know when you say, Adele, I knew I should have played the lotto because I could have won that, or I should have said my guess, you know, but because I knew I was right, but I didn't want to be wrong. Right? So we hold our souls back. So do you know, could you want to share real quick a time that you get through that experience, and how you work through it, or you didn't get through it?
I'm just trying to think if there's anything recently where I thought I should have done that, but I don't think there has been recently. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to think about.
Busy's good. No, but you know, we all have those moments, like, you know, well, that's a good thing that if you don't really have those moments, the should have, would have, could have, right? It means that you're trusting yourself, Adele. It means you're in flow. So this is how to be in flow, is to trust your soul's whisper, right? Because it's going to move us more into our authentic path, when rather than ignoring that and ignoring it, because eventually you can't anymore. Your husband is a living example of that, of what he's going through right now.
Well, so I need to ride my pony tomorrow, go to the shops without a list, get my high heels on to channel my feminine energy, and get that date night in.
Yes, it's coming. I think he's going to suggest it. Don't say anything yet. I think he's going to suggest it. Receive.
Brilliant. And we all need to be brave.
Put the heels on while you're cooking.
Absolutely. Oh, guaranteed good results. Right. Well, thank you so much, Sherry. It's always a pleasure, as always. Good luck, everyone who's listening, putting into practice what we've talked about today. We will have another catch up, I'm sure, not too long. But Sherry, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you. It's going to be an exciting one.
It will. Take care.